Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a moment in life when you realize that someone who once cherished your presence now takes it for granted. It's a moment that stings a quiet, searing ache in the heart. But let me tell you, this is not the end of your story, it is merely the beginning of a powerful transformation. When someone no longer values you, the most powerful thing you can do is not to beg, not to argue, and certainly not to diminish yourself in the hope of winning back their affection. Instead, try this step back, quietly, gracefully. There is profound strength in the act of stepping back. It's not an act of surrender, but a declaration of your worth. When you stop chasing someone who no longer sees your value, something extraordinary happens. They're forced to confront the absence of your light. And whether or not they realize it, the world around them grows dimmer. Silence, my friends, is a mirror. It compels reflection. It shows people not only what they've lost, but also what they've failed to appreciate. And in that silence, you reclaim your power. But stepping back isn't just about them, it's about you. Redirect your energy inward. Invest in yourself. Pursue passions that set your soul alight. Surround yourself with people who recognize and celebrate your brilliance. You'll discover that your value doesn't diminish because someone else failed to see it. And here's the magic: when you honor your worth, the dynamics shift. Suddenly you're not the one seeking validation, you're the one setting the terms. And often in this new equilibrium, those who once overlooked you find themselves longing for the connection they so carelessly neglected. But remember, not everyone is meant to stay. Sometimes stepping back is the beginning of something even greater. Life has a way of bringing the right people, opportunities, and experiences into your orbit when you're willing to let go of those who don't truly value you. So, my friends, when you find yourself in a place where someone no longer sees your worth, don't fight to prove it to them. Instead, try this simple trick: step back. Honor yourself. Watch what happens next, not just in their eyes, but in your own. Because in valuing yourself, you'll find something far greater than their approval. You'll find your freedom. Understanding your worth is one of the most profound realizations you can achieve in life. It is the foundation upon which your confidence, decisions, and relationships are built. Your value is not dictated by the opinions or actions of others. It resides within you, shaped by your unique experiences, talents, and the essence of who you are. When you truly grasp this, you start to see the futility in seeking validation from those who fail to appreciate you. It's easy to fall into the trap of measuring your worth by how others treat you. If someone dismisses your feelings or neglects your contributions, it can feel like a personal indictment of your value. But this is an illusion. People's perceptions are often colored by their own insecurities, biases, and limited perspectives. Their inability to see your worth says more about them than it ever could about you. Recognizing your worth means understanding that you are inherently valuable, regardless of external validation. It means believing in your abilities, cherishing your uniqueness, and honoring the qualities that make you who you are. It is an act of self-respect to acknowledge your strengths and accept your imperfections, knowing that both are part of your authentic self. When you know your worth, you stop settling for less than you deserve. You make choices that align with your dignity and self-respect. You set boundaries not as a means of pushing people away, but as a way to protect your peace and preserve your energy for those who truly matter. You realize that you are not obligated to shrink yourself to fit into someone else's idea of who you should be. Recognizing your worth is not about arrogance or superiority, it's about quiet confidence and self-assuredness. It's about walking through life with the understanding that you bring something special to the table, and that your presence is not just a privilege for others, but also a testament to your resilience and self-love. When you embrace your worth, you radiate a kind of strength that cannot be ignored. You inspire respect, not because you demand it, but because you embody it. And in doing so, you create a life where your value is not just recognized, it is celebrated. Stepping back gracefully is an art, a deliberate act of self-respect and emotional maturity. It's not about making a dramatic exit or seeking to punish someone for their lack of appreciation. Rather, it's about choosing dignity over desperation, composure over conflict. When someone no longer values you, your instinct might be to fight for their attention or prove your worth to them. But the true power lies in doing the opposite, removing yourself from the equation with quiet strength. Stepping back isn't an act of weakness. It's a demonstration of profound inner strength. It's a way of saying, I respect myself too much to remain in a space where I am undervalued. This is not a retreat, but a repositioning, an opportunity to refocus your energy on yourself rather than on someone who has failed to appreciate it. By stepping back, you allow the relationship dynamics to shift, creating space for clarity, reflection, and perhaps even a change in perspective from the other person. To step back gracefully, avoid anger, resentment, or blame. There's no need for dramatic confrontations or emotional outbursts. Instead, let your actions speak louder than words. Distance yourself with a calm resolve, communicating through your behavior that you will not beg for recognition. This quiet withdrawal often speaks volumes, forcing the other person to confront the void left by your absence. The beauty of stepping back lies in its subtlety. It doesn't demand attention or validation, it simply asserts your self-worth. It sends a clear message: you know what you deserve, and you will not compromise your dignity to receive it. Gracefulness in this context is about maintaining your composure, even when your emotions might urge you otherwise. It's about choosing to walk away with your head held high, knowing that your value is not diminished just because someone else failed to see it. This act of stepping back also benefits you. It gives you the distance needed to assess the relationship objectively. With time and space, you may realize that their inability to value you was not a reflection of your worth, but a limitation of their own capacity to appreciate others. It allows you to reconnect with yourself, focus on what truly matters, and open the door to healthier, more fulfilling connections in the future. Graceful distance is powerful because it leaves no room for regret or bitterness. It is a testament to your self-respect and a reminder that sometimes the most profound strength lies in simply stepping away. Silence is one of the most profound tools we possess, yet it is often misunderstood. In a world that constantly demands noise, explanations, and reactions, choosing silence can feel counterintuitive. But when someone stops valuing you, silence becomes your greatest ally. It is not a sign of weakness or indifference, rather, it is a deliberate and powerful response that communicates far more than words ever could. When you are silent, you create space. This space is not just physical, but emotional and psychological. It forces the other person to confront the absence of your voice, your energy, and your presence. It allows them to reflect on their actions or inactions and to recognize what they may have taken for granted. Silence disrupts the pattern of interaction, making it impossible for the other person to ignore the impact of their behavior. Silence is also a mirror. It reflects back to people the emptiness left in your wake. Often, when we speak, we give others the tools to justify or dismiss their actions. But when you say nothing, you leave no room for excuses, no words to twist or misinterpret. Silence requires them to sit with the discomfort of their choices, a discomfort that can be more powerful than any argument or plea. For you, silence is an act of self-preservation. It protects your peace and allows you to focus on what truly matters. Instead of expending energy trying to make someone see your worth, you channel that energy inward, nurturing your own growth and well-being. Silence is a declaration that you will not waste your time or words on someone who refuses to listen or understand. Silence also shifts the power dynamic. It places the responsibility back on the other person to acknowledge the void and decide how they will respond. Will they come to terms with their actions and try to make amends? Or will they allow the silence to widen the gap? Either way, you've taken control by choosing not to participate in a dynamic that undermines your value. But perhaps the greatest power of silence lies in its clarity. In the quiet, you can hear your own thoughts more clearly. You can process your emotions without interference, gaining insight into what you truly want and need. Silence gives you the time and space to decide how to move forward, not out of anger or hurt, but with purpose and self-respect. In a world that often equates silence with passivity, it is anything but. Silence is strength, it is wisdom. It is a way of reclaiming your power and standing firm in your worth. When words fail, silence can say everything that needs to be said and more. Focusing on self-growth is one of the most empowering choices you can make, especially when faced with the realization that someone no longer values you. It is a decision to redirect your energy inward, where it can flourish and create lasting transformation. Instead of dwelling on what you've lost or seeking validation from someone who cannot give it, you invest in becoming the best version of yourself. This shift in focus not only helps you heal, but also reveals the limitless potential within you. Self-growth begins with self-awareness. It requires an honest look at where you are in life, what you've learned from your experiences, and where you want to go. It's about recognizing your strengths and areas for improvement, not with judgment, but with a sense of curiosity and commitment to progress. This is a deeply personal journey, and the first step is acknowledging that your worth is not tied to how someone else treats you, it is intrinsic and unchanging. Once you embrace self-growth, every moment becomes an opportunity to learn and evolve. You might take up a new hobby, refine your skills, or set ambitious goals that challenge and excite you. Perhaps you explore your passions more deeply, finding joy and purpose in pursuits that bring you fulfillment. This is not about proving anything to others, it's about discovering what makes your heart sing and pursuing it with enthusiasm and dedication. Focusing on self-growth also means taking care of your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. Exercise, eat well, and get enough rest. Practice mindfulness or meditation to connect with your inner self. Surround yourself with people who uplift and inspire you, and let go of relationships that drain your energy or make you feel small. In doing so, you create an environment that supports your growth and nurtures your spirit. As you grow, you'll notice a change in how you perceive yourself and the world around you. Confidence blooms as you achieve milestones and see the progress you've made. Gratitude grows as you recognize the lessons in even the most painful experiences. And resilience strengthens, enabling you to face future challenges with grace and determination. The beauty of self-growth is that it transforms not only how you feel about yourself, but also how others see you. When you prioritize your development, you radiate a sense of purpose and self-assuredness that is magnetic. People are drawn to those who know their worth and are actively pursuing their potential. Ultimately, focusing on self-growth is an act of self-love. It's a declaration that you are worthy of the time, effort, and care it takes to thrive. It's a reminder that while someone else's inability to value you may have sparked this journey, the growth you experience is entirely your own. And as you rise, you'll find that the most important relationship in your life, the one with yourself, becomes stronger and more fulfilling than ever before. Shifting the dynamics in any relationship begins with reclaiming your power and redefining the way you allow others to interact with you. When someone no longer values you, the temptation might be to fight for their recognition or approval, but this only reinforces an imbalance where their validation becomes the focal point. Instead, the most transformative step is to realign the focus toward valuing yourself, which naturally alters the dynamics of the relationship. Change starts when you decide to stop reacting to others' actions and instead take deliberate steps to honor your worth. This means establishing clear boundaries and refusing to tolerate behavior that undermines your dignity or peace of mind. By doing so, you signal that you are not a passive participant in the relationship, but an equal whose feelings and needs deserve respect. This shift often comes as a surprise to those who have grown accustomed to taking your presence for granted, forcing them to reevaluate their approach. When you prioritize your self-worth, your energy changes. You exude confidence and self-assuredness, which can make others take notice. The balance of power shifts because you are no longer seeking something from them, whether it's validation, attention, or approval. Instead, you are centered in your own value, creating a dynamic where they must either meet you on equal terms or risk losing your presence altogether. Shifting the dynamics doesn't mean playing games or manipulating outcomes, it means leading by example. you model the kind of respect and appreciation you expect, not through demands, but through your actions. When you treat yourself with care and respect, you set a standard for how others should treat you. And if they fail to meet that standard, your actions, whether it's distancing yourself, disengaging from unhealthy patterns, or choosing to walk away, speak louder than any words could. This change in dynamics often leads to one of two outcomes. In some cases, the person who undervalued you begins to recognize what they've taken for granted and adjusts their behavior. They might reach out, acknowledge their mistakes, or make a genuine effort to rebuild the connection on healthier terms. In other cases, the relationship may naturally dissolve, making way for new opportunities and connections where you are truly appreciated. Either way, the most important shift occurs within you. By choosing to honor your worth, you step into a place of power and self-respect that no one can take away. The dynamic of the relationship becomes secondary to the dynamic you create with yourself, one rooted in self-love, authenticity, and strength. In this space, you no longer depend on others to define your value, and that in itself is a transformation that changes everything. Being open to new beginnings is a profound act of courage and trust in life's ability to offer endless opportunities for growth, connection, and joy. When someone no longer values you, it can feel like the end of something important. However, what may initially appear as a loss is often a doorway to something far greater if you allow yourself to embrace it. Letting go of what no longer serves you creates space for the unexpected, for experiences and people that align with the person you are becoming. New beginnings often come disguised as endings. It's easy to focus on the pain of what is lost, but every ending carries within it the seed of possibility. This is not just about finding someone else to fill the void, but about stepping into a future that has room for growth, fulfillment, and authentic connections. To be open to new beginnings is to release the grip of the past and trust that better things are ahead. Openness to change requires a shift in perspective. Instead of seeing rejection or undervaluation as a reflection of your worth, recognize it as an opportunity to realign your life with what truly matters to you. It's an invitation to reflect on what you need, what you desire, and what brings you joy. This clarity becomes the foundation for a new chapter, one that is built on authenticity and self-respect. New beginnings are often unpredictable, and that can be both exciting and daunting. You may find yourself exploring paths you never considered, meeting people who expand your understanding of the world, or uncovering passions that ignite your soul. This unpredictability is part of the beauty. It's where growth happens, where life surprises you with its capacity for renewal and wonder. Being open to new beginnings also means releasing fear. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, or fear of being alone can hold you back from stepping into the opportunities waiting for you. But when you choose to trust yourself and the process of life, you discover that every step forward, no matter how uncertain, brings you closer to the life you deserve. In embracing new beginnings, you cultivate resilience. You learn that your value is not tied to the approval or recognition of others, but is something intrinsic and unshakable. This realization empowers you to walk away from what no longer aligns with your happiness and move toward what does. It's not about replacing the past, but about building a future that reflects your growth, your worth, and your dreams. Ultimately, being open to new beginnings is an act of self-love and faith. It's a declaration that you deserve a life filled with genuine connections, meaningful experiences, and boundless potential. It's a reminder that endings are not failures, they are transitions, stepping stones to something greater. And when you embrace the unknown with an open heart, you give life the chance to surprise you in ways you never imagined. In life, there will be moments when the value others once placed on you seems to fade, leaving you questioning your worth and your place in their world. But remember, your worth is not theirs to define, it is yours to honor. When faced with this reality, the greatest power lies not in fighting to reclaim what is lost, but in choosing to reclaim yourself. Recognize your inherent value, for it is unwavering and unshakable. Step back with grace, allowing space for clarity and reflection. Harness the profound power of silence, letting it speak volumes in its quiet strength. Focus on your own growth, channeling your energy toward becoming the best version of yourself. Shift the dynamics of relationships by leading with self-respect, and be unafraid to walk away from what no longer serves you. Finally, embrace the beauty of new beginnings, knowing that every ending is a stepping stone to something greater. This journey is not about changing others, it's about transforming yourself. When you value who you are, the world around you begins to reflect that same respect and appreciation. And as you stand tall in your self-worth, you'll find that what truly belongs to you will always find its way into your life. So when someone doesn't value you anymore, don't despair. Instead, honor yourself, take a step back, and trust in the process. Watch what happens not just in how others respond, but in how you rediscover your strength, your purpose, and your boundless potential.